Hi guys, welcome to Top Wisdom. Today I'm going to summarize the call essay. Figurative language. The title of this poem, The Call, has both a literal meaning and a figurative meaning. The speaker is literally receiving a telephone call from her mother. A call or calling can also mean something we feel we should or must do. Even though it is not said out loud, the speaker also misses home and feels guilty about not going back. She has a calling to go back home. In other words, it is as if she is figuratively being called back home by her desire to return. Unemotive language. In poetry, we usually expect emotive words that force us to feel strongly. This poem does the opposite. It uses the very factual and unemotive non-feeling language and seems to describe what happens in a very ordinary words. For example, phone, landing, suitcase, in place. These ordinary words, however, carry a lot of meaning in this poem. A phone, mentioned 3 times, is the only mode manner of communication the phone has with her daughter. They are far apart and therefore cannot see or touch each other. The phone call reminds us how far away from each other they are physically as well as emotionally. The landing is a halfway place between the top of the staircase and the bottom. It is a place to pause. This phone call interrupts speaker on the way down with her suitcase. The call is very short as the mother and daughter have very little to say to each other. It reminds us that the daughter is moving again and that she does not seem to stay in any one place for very long. A suitcase is a container which holds our clothes and personal belongings. However, a suitcase is not big enough to fit everything. When we leave a permanent place like home, we must leave behind anything that will be too difficult to pack. We are reminded of that by the box of things to give away that the speaker is leaving behind. One of the things she has had to leave behind is her mother. She feels guilty that she has done this. She knows she could go back but has chosen not to. I can return but do not. The speaker describes where she is going as a new place. The word place has no feeling attached to it and has no name. It is not like the word center that she uses to describe her mother or her home. Center shows where her roots are and where she is connected by her feelings. A place has no emotional connection for her. Enjambment and end stops. Enjambment, or a run on line, is when the end of one line of poetry runs on into the next. There is no punctuation at the end of the line and idea continues in the next line. An end stop is when a line of poetry ends with a full stop or a semicolon. The idea comes to an end. In this poem, enjambment is used to highlight the fact that this conversation comes to the interval between leaving and going. The speaker is caught in coming downstairs on the landing. With a heavy suitcase in her hand, she interrupts this to take the call from her mother. The lines in stanza 1 hesitate and jerk forward just as the speaker does. She is caught on the landing. She has her hand on the handle. Her suitcase keeps moving. She poses herself. She finds her phone. She plugs it into the socket. Each movement is described in its own line to show her panic and rush. However, everything happens in only a few seconds, so the lines also run on to show the sequence of events and their pace. The stanza ends when the speaker finally sits down and we catch our breath with her. Sit at the end of line 11 and relax. Her rush ends with a full stop at the end of line 11. Line 12 is the first time that moves more slowly as she rests before greeting her mother. The enjambment in line 16 and 18 makes us pause on last words of each line. The emphasis is on her fear and losing. The last stanza is one sentence, broken up into 4 separate lines. Her mother comes only so close to expressing her feelings but hesitates. Stop before she speaks. This hesitation is shown in the breaks between lines. So guys, this is all you need to know about the summary of The Call, the grade 11 poem that could come out on the examination, or maybe you've already written it. So guys, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon and share the video. It could be helpful to other learners. Thank you.